Craftmas, a fun 12-day event where I'm sharing 12 different crafts you can make with your Cricut that are perfect for the holidays or gifting. And yeah, if you're new here, hi, I'm Jordan. I like to share Cricut crafts and small business tips on my channel. Today we're making two different signs that are a great introduction to layering vinyl. I just think they're a great beginner project. They're obviously great for gifting, great for holiday decor. Let's get into it. Okay, so to get started, I've already cut everything out and now I'm just peeling off the excess vinyl. If your vinyl ever gets stuck, I've noticed this happens on ease a lot. I just use the weeding tool from Cricut and just kind of like pull that off. That definitely helps it get unstuck. And you can see it happens again. So it must just be like the ease because they are like a 90-degree angle or something. Different vinyl I've noticed has different issues with weeding. So like this red vinyl is different than the green one I was using. And this one seems to have gotten stuck a little bit more on every letter. I'm wondering if I should have used a heavier pressure on that and maybe it would have been better. So now I'm transferring the vinyl and I'm layering it. I'm starting with the red because it has these two berries that I can use as my anchor for the next layer. You'll see what I mean in a second. I'm placing the backing sheet of that transfer tape so that my letters don't stick to the table or you'll just have a big mess. So I'm using these two berries to anchor to the holly leaves, and that's how I know where to put everything. And then you're just gonna scrape that down and peel it off. And then take the backing paper off and move it up so that you can do your next layer. Now for the trees, I figured it would just be way easier to pick up the one tree and put it on the other one instead of having to transfer it with actual transfer tape. I just thought it would be easier to do it all at once instead of like multiple times, so that is what I did with that. And then just scraping and peeling those off again. You can kind of see that I put the backing paper too far down. So I just kind of lifted those up and scraped them back down and it turned out great. So now I just have one more layer. I'm peeling off that backing paper one more time and putting it over most of the design. Then I'm gonna pick up that last text layer and then we will be ready to put it onto the sign. Now, I'm gonna be honest, I messed up with this. It accidentally touched the letters and it started peeling off where I didn't want it to. So I had to take everything off, scrape everything off, and then kind of line everything back up. So it's not perfect, but some mistakes still happen to me and I'm still learning, but I'm trying to just make the best out of everything and not get too hung up on the details and if things aren't exactly perfect. Centering it to the sign and placing it down and then scraping really hard and then peeling it off. And then sign number one is completed. And honestly, like I was a little intimidated to start doing layered projects, but this was honestly, I think this is so much easier to layer it all together and do it step by step like this instead of trying to get everything onto the sign where it needs to go. I got over my fear of layering and it turned out not so bad. Now, if you have anything that's like not sticking to the wood, just hold down with your scraper and scrape it back onto the wood and it'll be fine. I just go really slow with this, making sure no letters are coming up or anything like that. And yeah, it's usually because I didn't scrape long enough or hard enough, so that's usually what happens. I'm also using a strong grip transfer tape because I layered it so many times. I like to use a strong grip instead of something super loose because it might not pick everything up every single transfer, so that's why I do that. And just like that, sign number one is complete. Now we're moving on to the second sign, and this one also uses some layering. Oh, you can see this holly leaf, it moved all around, and obviously that's gonna mess with my layering because it was supposed to be in a specific spot. So I tried putting it back where it was supposed to go, but you'll see later that I have to move it again because it wasn't exactly perfect. But that's okay, sometimes that happens. Now I'm cutting down the transfer tape. I'm using Oracle transfer tape for this one, which isn't as strong of a grip transfer tape. So I'm picking up the red first because, like the other one, this has the 2 berries that help me anchor my design to where it needs to go. And I actually mess up lining this up so it sticks before I want it to. And so I have to take everything off and redo it. You can see that top corner isn't lined up where it was supposed to go. So I'm taking it off right now, redoing it, lining it up perfectly, and then pressing down. So now you can see both berries were lined up where they're supposed to go. So now I'm just lining up the tree and the berries, and you can see that holly leaf isn't where it was supposed to be. So I'm just kind of eyeing it up and putting it back where I wanted it to. And I wasn't really thinking, but I definitely needed to put the backing paper down. And this is why you put backing paper down, because it sticks to your table. And yeah, thankfully these letters were huge and I was able to get it off the table pretty easily, but don't forget to do that step. Make sure you're putting the backing paper down, and it just makes it way easier, as you can see in this part. I went with the Oracle transfer tape for this one because it had a lot bigger letters. Like, the grip didn't need to be as strong, so it worked out pretty fine. Here is the final result of my 2 signs. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Craftmas, and come back tomorrow for another one.